So the mental health court program here in the 14th Judicial District, it's a specialty court program for folks with a mental health diagnosis, and it operates like a special type of probation for them. It's an alternative to incarceration, and when these people are accepted into the program and they plead guilty to their charges, we do release them out of incarceration, and they interact with caseworkers on a daily basis. We make sure that they're med compliant, that they're compliant with their psychiatric medications. We make sure that they have employment, a place to live. We make sure that they're touching base with our caseworkers, they're having group therapy. And generally that's how the program works, and it gets these people into a healthy lifestyle. So we can't take people who are legally insane. A lot of times when you say mental health court, that's the first thing that comes to mind, is folks who are legally insane. And the criminal justice system has a different avenue for those people. For us, it's people who are not legally insane, but who do suffer from some type of mental health diagnosis. And that brings to mind somebody who maybe has a bipolar disorder, who's not legally insane. They know the difference between right and wrong, but they suffer and they struggle with their disease. And maybe sometimes don't take their medication and they act out. Or somebody who's schizophrenic. These types of people are the type of people that we see who aren't legally insane but can use help from our program and from our caseworkers. And most importantly, the types of people who want to help themselves. You know, that's one of our main things that we look for in a person. It's not as much as can we help them, it's do they want help. When we learn about a person, we begin observing that person, and we meet with them and we assess them. And this is when they have open charges, and they're referred to us sometimes by the defendant themselves. Sometimes they'll learn about mental health court and say, I'm interested in this program. Sometimes it's their lawyer, sometimes it's their judge, sometimes it's their prosecutor. Their prosecutor may see them in court and say, hey, this person looks like they might be a good fit for mental health court. So we take a look at them. We have them come every Wednesday to court while they're typically incarcerated. We'll have them transported to court every Wednesday. They'll meet with our caseworkers. We'll do interviews. We'll do research on their medical records with their permission, and we'll reach out to their past psychiatrist and to see if they have a mental health diagnosis that fits. We also look at the police reports. We talk to the police about how they were. We look at the facts, and we ask ourselves, is this something that stems from their diagnosis? Is this something that we can help? Is this someone who's not too dangerous? We also meet with that person extensively, and we make sure that this is somebody who's engaged and who wants to become a healthy, contributing member of society. The mental health court team primarily consists of Judge Robert Wyatt, who does a fantastic job of making sure these people have everything they need as far as employment, housing. He's got a lot of connections, and he uses those connections very well to make sure that these people, if they want a job, they have a job. We also have Coalition Services, which is a private company that the court has contracted, who employs or contracts Volunteers of America, and we have caseworkers through them who interact with our clients on a daily basis by phone, and a lot of times face-to-face. At any time, these folks come up to the mental health court program to touch base for anything that they might need. They also meet with them every Wednesday for group therapy, things like that. Also on our staff, or meeting with us at staffing, is the nurse at the jail. We sometimes have a doctor who works at the jail. They kind of keep us in the loop as far as people they see who are incarcerated, who may not even realize that they have a mental health issue, and they may be able to help us get the right information that we need to determine if that person has an appropriate diagnosis. The type of diagnosis, I think you touched on this earlier, that we're looking for is, we're going to see a lot of bipolar disorder, we're going to see a lot of schizophrenia. Those are the ones that we typically go for. Surprisingly, some of the folks with a schizophrenic diagnosis are some of our most successful in the program. When medicated and participating in therapy, these people can really thrive if given the right support system that they need. They can really do great. It starts off with observing the program, and they typically observe for anywhere from 1 month to 2 months. And that's the time that we spend researching their criminal history, researching the facts of their particular case, touching base with the victim on the case, meeting with them, meeting with their family, finding out where they're going to live if they're released from custody. And like I said, that takes from anywhere from a month to 2 months. Once they're accepted and plead guilty into the program and are released on that, like I said, it's a type of probation, and they're released into the program, they typically are in the program for about 2 years. Throughout that process, they have different phases, things that they have to complete, different community service tasks. They have to give different testimonies in group therapy. They have to maintain med compliance. They undergo drug testing at random. That typically lasts, like I said, for about 2 years. And if somebody completes the program, the Louisiana law does allow us to ask that their conviction be set aside and dismissed, which operates very similarly to an expungement. The district attorney's role, not only myself as a prosecutor, but the district attorney himself does play a huge role in this, not only by giving me authorization to make decisions, but by specifically looking at each case himself, looking at the facts, determining whether somebody's too dangerous to be into the program, researching their criminal history, looking at different issues involving their diagnosis. He plays a big role in making those decisions. I find that the program is very successful. The folks who we pinpoint and we recognize we think are going to be successful tend to thrive. We're very, I would say that we're very particular about who we let in, and there's good cause for that. But when we do find somebody who we think is appropriate, and we put those resources into them, and though they may have a severe mental health diagnosis and real issues, when we make sure that they have folks pulling for them, folks encouraging them, they have a job, they have somewhere to live, they make sure that they have a bed, make sure that they have somebody to talk to when they need it, and make sure they have somebody holding them accountable to be med compliant, they're incredibly successful, and these people can be fantastic, healthy, contributing members of society.